Of it all, untouchable, a new animal. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
What's up, guys? We are here with the first video of November. We're going to be talking about the fundamentals of lift. So we've got Peanut here. If you've been following along, we've been doing a lot of counter cantering. We've been doing a lot of the indirect turns. You saw that in the last video. This footage is from Congress, and I want to show you the huge changes we made in this horse over the 2.5 weeks we were down there. So this is a concentrated effort to get control of our horse's legs and start creating lift out of our feet. So when we go to our spurs, she doesn't surge forward. She stands up on her shoulders. She gives her face to us, and just that next level. So one of the things that we had talked about with this horse is how much we liked our left lead versus our right lead. Our right lead tended to be a little bit rumbly up front. She didn't quite finish her stride and take a full step. Hopefully through the course of these videos over the next week or so, we can see how much she changed. So this is a huge difference to us, especially coming home from the Congress and riding her afterwards. When you take a look at that footage back to back, like we have the advantage of doing here, it's a different animal. So we come home with a different horse than we left with. And that's one of the cool things about going to horse shows, right? Like you can get so much training done at a horse show, especially for us being from the north here, where the arenas are a bit narrow. You kind of end up on a circle a lot. We go down to Congress, and even though there's a lot of traffic, if you plan ahead well, you can take advantage of these long rails. So a couple things to take from these videos is we're going to be navigating traffic a little bit and still trying to get our workout in, which is one of the hardest things to do at a horse show, especially one like Congress where there's so much traffic, trying to get all your workouts in and make progress. So if you saw us kind of flying around at Congress on Peanut, you can check out these videos and see the progress that we made and how much different an animal we had coming home from Congress than we had down there. So all of these kind of workouts and little bit of struggles paid off over the course of 2 weeks. So this is a very focused, like I said, very focused effort on trying to get our horse soft off her face and really draw into her body, create a bunch of lift, and we end up going a lot slower because of it. So with that being said, we'll get started here. I apologize in advance for the videos. It's a bit harder to video down there, but we wanted to get you guys involved in the process. So if you've been following along, the videos that we took right before we left for Congress, the ones we put in last week's video, were taken shortly before this. So the week before Congress, you saw we were kind of running around. We were doing the counter canter and stuff. Still kind of running around here, starting to get control of our horse's face a little bit, asking for her to shape up. So again, we're looking for lift. So the big thing that we have to do is we have to be able to put our spurs on and have our horse not rush away from us. So you can see right there, I've got this video at 75% speed. So we're at 3/4 speed here. Still really going fast. I mean, truly kind of just flying around. The big thing for me is that we let our horse slow down through a process of creating lift off of our spurs. So when you go to your feet, the big thing that you have to have is you have to have a horse that doesn't go forward. If your horse goes forward off your spurs, they're going to push into your hands. So a lot of the resistance that you feel in your hands and you feel in that bit is really coming because your horse is pushing forward on your feet. And that's important to realize, because if you ignore that and you just chop at their face and you force them to give their hands, you still have the forward on your feet. So you're not going slow yet. And you definitely won't be going slow when you turn loose and you try it on a loose rein. So this is that same clip in full speed, so you can get a really good idea of how fast we're going. I mean, we really truly are flying around this makeup pen. So the big thing about that is I'm not trying to make this a show horse this year. I recognize that because it's October now, our show season's done. We have until next April before we have to show this horse again. So just abandon any ideas of this horse being a show horse in February. Doesn't do us any good, right? So let's back up a little bit here. Let's just focus on our holes, focus on our problems, and create a horse that in the end ends up being a great all-around horse and has that good foundation. So this move right here, this indirect turn, we used a ton down there at Congress. And what we're looking for here is we're looking for respect out of my right hand and my right foot. So I need this horse to A, not push on my right rein so that I can lift it up and create lift out of my shoulder and not have her shove on me. I also need this horse to be able to draw her chin to the point of her shoulder on this inside. So if she won't give me that right side, then she's going to be shoving all over that and she's going to curl the middle of her neck instead of giving me her chin as we lope around into our straight lines. If you've been watching the videos, you know that this is one of the few times we've actually started to go straight on this horse. We've been working a lot of circles prior to this, and she's really gotten good at the circles, but now it's time to go straight and be able to draw her chin in as she goes straight. So we're going to fix a lot of that fall and dive in our horse when we pick up our right hand. So I need this horse to be able to give me her chin to her right shoulder as I bump across my body up to my left shoulder off my right hand. So you're going to see that move a lot. That's going to help us when we go to make these corners right here, because I can bump up on my right hand and she won't fall down. So I can really keep my horse good and stood up on this inside shoulder, inside rib line. If I have her stood up there and I have a lot of softness right there, then my hip can travel on the inside as I make the corners, and she's got something to stand on to go a lot slower. The benefit to this is those indirect turns are really going to help our outside front get under control. So you can really see the definition in my front legs as I do more of these, that she starts to keep her weight over on the left front a lot more, which gives this right front time to swing around. So every now and then we like to check in. We were pretty satisfied with our progress here. We see our horse's legs starting to slow down a ton. Her rhythm slows down a bunch, and we're able to now go to our feet and have her shape up underneath of us, which was a big change. Prior to this, we would go to our feet a lot and she would kind of shove on us and push into our hands. So we were really happy with our progress. We decided to check on her in the draws, which is one of the few times we put her in draw reins. So we wanted to see where we were at. We're taking footage here for you guys, but also for ourselves to see how much more round she's getting. We go back and look at our own videos a ton to gauge our horse's progress. So I know we're making progress here. My stops are so much crisper than they were before, and my lope offs are getting a ton better. So we still see a bit of step forward out of my left front when we lope off on this right lead, and we're going to have to get that left front under control a bit more in order to go as slow to the right as we do to the left. It was interesting to see the more we worked this side, we actually left Congress liking her right lead more than her left lead. So a really focused effort on getting this right lead under control to where she can really stay round, stay underneath herself, has caused us to be better to the right than the left. And that's one of the things to remember about horses in general, is the more you work one way, the more you're going to get worse the other way. So if we have a horse that's better to the right than the left, we're going to work our left side to catch it up to our right side and just kind of let our right side be until our left side gets there. It's so important in today's show world to have a horse that can have a left lead and a right lead and not just go one way the whole time and be satisfied with it, right? It's very, very easy to go out there and practice your good way, especially at the Congress, because you know people are looking and you know people are going to be watching, and you just want to show off how cool your horse is all the time. Again, for us, this is not going to be a show horse this year, so we're going to take our time and fill in those holes. The cool part about these videos, I know they're kind of choppy, but you can get an appreciation for how much she changes throughout each ride. You can imagine that the piece that you see in these videos, you're catching a small piece of the greater workout, right? So each one of these clips that's maybe a minute long, just imagine we went 30 more minutes doing the exact same thing. And that really was our ride. So when you go home and you work on your own horse, really just ask yourself, how much repetition and how many times am I going to these buttons to make sure that my horse is getting the repetition in so that she can be good at this? You can see how these indirect turns are really starting to tighten up. She's really lightening up through them. There was a time not long before these videos were taken, maybe a month or two ago, that every time we went to our indirect turn, Peanut left the ground. So we spent a lot of time with our front legs in the air. She really liked to rear through those turns or jump through those turns. And through the course of these videos, through the course of the last couple months, we've been able to get that front under control, and she started to learn where to put her feet, which is really the big idea behind all this. I want her to think about where she's putting her feet and really understand that it matters. So having that horse understand that where you put your feet down is important, we now see a horse that starts to think about the pace at which she puts her feet down. So our rhythm starts to slow down a ton. So we want that rhythm to be as slow as possible. We want her to be good-legged. We want her to take a full stride, but the speed of her legs is really important, and that's where lift comes in. If she will lift her legs into the air, the actual footfalls will come a lot slower, and she'll maintain a full stride. So now we're going to start using our straight lines a bit. We can kind of use the fence at Congress. It's really the first time that Peanut has seen the rail, and we've started to ride that a little bit. Now that I have a horse that kind of responds to my legs the way I want to, I can put her on a straight line and see if I can shape her up as I go straight ahead. So right there, you saw me call a mistake. It is never offensive to me to just have to start over. If I lope off and I feel like Peanut didn't think about where she's putting her legs and she kind of just rushed off into the sunset, we're going to shut it down. So calling those mistakes, helping my horse understand how you put your feet down matters. And that's what that correction looks like. If I ride along, she doesn't think about what she's doing, we're shutting it down. We're going to start over. I think a lot of people are reluctant to stop and just fix it. I think it needs to be done a bit more, and your horse will be a little more cautious about the way they go forward from there on out. This next video kind of combines all the things that we've been working on with the indirect turn, using our hip around, the jog circle, doing everything that we've been doing over the last couple weeks. And this was taken towards the end of the Congress. You can really see the difference in the speed of our legs. So for us, all those indirect turns, all that standing up off my hands, now I've got a horse that really splits behind well. She skips, she lifts on an outside hind, she stands and sticks this right hind, and now I can start to turn loose with my hands a little bit and kind of ask and set her down a lot more. So ask for a piece here, pick up my hands. Now she stands up instead of shoving into my hands, and I can kind of shape her on this straight line. So we see a lot more definition behind. We see a lot better stop, a lot more tuck to her. A good back up here. Going to push that body around, lope off here. Good lope off there. Really like how she stepped up behind, didn't shove into my hands at all, and a lot better lope here. So we see her neck stay down in my hands. She starts to give her face a little bit and drive forward underneath. So if she goes to shove on me, again, we're going to call it. We're going to push her body around. She kind of leaned on my inside leg there, fell down in her rib cage around that corner, stand it up, push it around, and keep going. Now, the big thing about this is when we work our horse here, this is not, and I stress this, it is not Western pleasure training. This, to me, is the foundation of getting a horse broke. My horse should be able to give me whatever piece I ask for and not push or lean. This is what I wish every horse that were ever sent to me had on it. So whether your horse is a hunting horse, a pleasure horse, a pattern horse, whatever, that's up to the horse to decide. This is purely our workout. So I don't want a horse that's going to shove into my reins when I pick up my hands, regardless of the event. So the analogy that I always give here, we are giving you an inside look into our workout instead of just giving you the finished piece at the horse show, which is a lot of times what you see if you just watch them show, is you don't get an appreciation for all the workouts that went into it. It's a lot like going to a bodybuilding competition and thinking that the way that those people got there is by posing in front of a mirror. You don't see the countless hours of sweat and hard work that went into the gym to create that figure at the competition. So This is the workout. This is how do I get my horse to be a willing participant, get all the holes out of there, and just create a student that says, I don't really know what you're asking for right here, but I'm going to keep trying. So to end this video, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of example. I know I said earlier about how much different a horse we had at the end of the Congress versus the beginning. So this footage right here, very beginning of the Congress, you see a horse that's pretty resistant in her face. She's tight behind. She takes quick choppy steps. And if we compare her to the video on the right, at the end of the Congress, you see how much softer she is in her face, how much slower she is in her legs, how she holds the ground, she's more definitive, and she's just more willing and supple. And that's really what it's about, is trying to get your horse to the position on the right where they just softly give it to you and you can ride and she's on a loose rein. That's what we're trying to create. So I hope this video helps, guys. We'll be back later on this week with another video. We have lots of footage. Don't forget to check out the Discord channel. We're live through the World Show, where we'll be doing a little play-by-play analysis of the classes as we see it. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Have a great week, and keep grinding. Keep working hard. If you have any questions, stop in the Discord, chat for a little while. We'd love to hear from you. This is for you guys. So thank you so much. See you soon.